everybody.
Thank you for joining us. I am one of the Meeples included. I'm here with many other Meeples, and this is another episode of Games on the Rocks. We are going to be talking about Traitors, Trolls, and Daiquiris. All of those things go together. But before we get into that, I want to welcome back Suze.
Hello! Hi! I missed you ladies so much. I missed this. I'm so glad to be back.
You.
Yay! I love your hair, Stephanie. You look adorbs.
Thanks.
And
we were just discussing what the origin of pigtails is. That and other hard-hitting questions we'll have to get into later. After
stay tuned after the break.
So it doesn't look like our intro screen has switched to our beautiful faces yet.
Yeah. You're so right. You're so right.
I mean, we need the
That's okay.
important
Now
stuff.
they have anticipation. Nicole, introduce yourself.
It is me, Nicole. I am here, and I have always been here, and I will always be here. Maggie.
Nicole, I will also be here with you forever and ever until BGGCon.
This is either really weird or like really sweet, guys.
Why not both?
Yeah.
Why not both?
Sure. And I'm Stephanie Straw, one of the hosts, of course. Let's dive into the cocktail because that's pretty. Oh, Gidget's here, of course.
Yeah,
Hi, Gidget.
obviously.
I'm sure she'll hop up in my lap later, so she'll say hello. Our featured cocktail this week is a choose-your-own-adventure type cocktail. I'll show that for those watching on Twitch. It is a your-choice cocktail. Take an entire piece of fruit, add it to booze, and enjoy regardless of your gender identity. Or, if you prefer, a vegetable, if that's what you're into. Or really anything. Just stick anything in your booze, I guess.
Just stick it in.
Just put it in. So I have what I'm calling a lemon drop.
Oh!
It is just literally straight vodka with an entire piece of lemon in it. So I'll let us all introduce our drinks. I was making this, and I was talking to my roommate getting ready for the show, and he didn't say anything, and I was like, oh, let me tell you about our featured cocktail. And he goes, I was wondering what you were doing over there. He said, I thought that you knew this cool way of just adding, like, a bunch of zest to your cocktail or something. He was like, he had all these questions, like internal questions, but he just trusted me and my bartending prowess and just didn't, he was like, she knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to ask.
That's how you
Drop
get the
that
oils out of
lemon,
the lemon.
Yeah, so Suze, what are you drinking?
All right, I've got my Down with the Patriarchy strawberry lemonade.
Ooh.
And I've got a bunch of fresh raspberries and strawberries because it's summer and berry season. And it's actually really tasty. And I can eat the fruit whole. So, yay for that.
That sounds amazing.
That does sound amazing.
What are you sipping on, Nicole?
So I have a grape beverage known as wine. You may have heard of it before. I have the white version. There's also red, I've heard. Not so much on the fan of that. And I have my cocktail stick of grapes as my garnish.
So, a thing that I learned several years ago, and it changed my life, frozen grapes can act as ice cubes in your wine to keep it
I did
cool.
not think that far
That's a
ahead.
good idea.
Also, I'm not sure if I would have been able. I could have put them on the stick and frozen them, I guess, but I just was not thinking that far ahead. So.
I mean, you follow the directions. It didn't say anything about freezing the entire pieces of fruit. It just said put entire pieces of fruit in there.
And I've gone with grapeception here because it's grapes in liquid.
I like
grape.
it. That's perfect.
Maggie, what have you got?
Oh, I made a vodka soda, but I wanted a plum vodka soda. And then
Girl!
Nicole knows what kind of soda I got because it's not just like your everyday. I found these in Seattle. It's lemon lime and bitters, and it's amazing.
I love it so much.
Ooh. That sounds good. I want to
And
try
it's
that.
like rosy pink color. It makes a really pretty cocktail.
Yeah, it's really nice. I like putting bitters in most mixed drinks I make, especially gin ones. But
Ooh, me too.
like lemon lime and bitters is a really Australian thing, and I'm like, after moving overseas, I discovered that, like, after going to a bar and being like, I'll have like a vodka lime and bitters, and they would just look at me like, "We've got bitters." I'm like, probably not. But it's quite sweet, but it has that like nice smoothness of the bitters in there. So I'm a fan of Maggie's Choice tonight.
I am a fan of all of our choices because I find the idea of putting an entire piece of fruit in your cocktail hilarious.
We're pioneers.
We're hilarious, guys. We are super funny.
So some of our like viewers might kind of get
sure.
the joke. So we'll see.
So should we tell that story briefly?
Yeah. Let's give some context to the fruit and cocktail.
So we're gonna briefly tell the story. Some of you are probably already familiar, but the internet has opinions, and there is. I posted a picture of me enjoying a mango beer with my boss and coworkers at lunch, and then there was a comment made that suggested that drinking a mango beer is not the manliest of activities. And I said, say what? And then the rest of the internet said, say what? Are you sure about that? Yeah. And there was a big discussion about how that's people feel about that. Not a lot of people felt favorably that you should only drink certain types of beverages if you have certain types of genitalia or identify as a certain gender. So that is where that's why we are here today. I'm not going to say who that person was because that person needs no more attention and fame. They kind of doubled and tripled and quadrupled down and called several people in the industry names. So
yeah, it was quite a thing, and so we figured that
negativity, get off.
Yeah, perhaps we could just celebrate the absolute ridiculousness of gendering beverages.
Yes, yes.
By choosing to add fruit to every drink in whole form.
Well, and we talked about, so he likened it to, they said that banana, that's like a man drinking a banana daiquiri, which they were also insinuating was not a manly thing to do. And we all kind of had a conversation, and we were like, let's do daiquiris for the featured cocktail. But all of us were like, we don't really like daiquiri.
Also, that's a lot of work.
I don't have daiquiri rum. I have like sipping rum. So.
Nicole was like, "How do you daiquiri? Is it vodka?" I don't know.
I actually had one at a bar.
I had one that night because they happened to have one on the menu, but it wasn't a frozen one. It was like a traditional one, and I tried it. It was way too sweet. I couldn't do it. I did it out of spite. But I harmed my taste buds in the process of it. So we decided that we would just, well, what if we stuck like a whole banana in just some rum? That would be our daiquiri. That would be our ideal daiquiri. So thus was born entire pieces of fruit in cocktails.
That drink is ridiculous, Stephanie.
Yeah, I love it.
Or celebrate in a Bloody Mary / Caesar,
right.
if you will. Right.
Yes. Or put vegetables, or we're not here to tell you what you can and can't put in your cocktail.
In the Canadian version of a Bloody Mary, which is a Caesar, they also put sometimes a spicy green bean. So you get your veggies worth with a Caesar.
So Meeples Included was and that's kind of why we're here, is a Canadian website that was kind of the brainchild of Marguerite, and that we are all involved in, and several other people. And so part of the reason that we started that was because we would like to talk about board games with a mindfulness of inclusivity and diversity. So that is something that we support. So that's kind of why that was something that was near and dear to us to talk about, that we think that as any gender or whatever gender you identify as, you can drink whatever you want. Don't listen to that person on the internet that says that you cannot.
And you can play anything you want to.
Damn girl, that's what I was just going to say. Just play it.
You can attempt it, at least, anyway, right?
Yeah. Unless
like I could play the trombone, maybe.
I would need video evidence of this activity for sure.
there better be
Well, now-
onesie involved, and then I'm good.
Well, now it has to happen. So our topic tonight is trolls, traitors, daiquiris. So we talked about the daiquiris, trolls and traitors. So we, since it was an internet troll that brought us this lovely featured cocktail, we decided that we would sort of make the theme about that. So games that have a fantasy theme that includes trolls, or games with traitor mechanics, or one versus many, like this person experienced that day as we all united for inclusivity. So guys in chat, if you have anything that you want to talk about, any specific games, then definitely bring those up. Does anyone want to start with a nice, lovely troll or traitor game?
Well,
I can share. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, Marguerite, your hair looks way better than mine, so you go first.
For background, I got home about 15 minutes before I had to be on this cast, so this is 15 minutes worth of stuff.
So good.
I was going to say one of my favorite traitor games that doesn't get talked about a lot is called Lisanne. Have any of you guys heard of this?
Oh.
I have not.
So this is like crazy wartime sort of Euro-ish game. You all play a family, and you kind of have a corner of the board to start, and you literally need 2 victory points in this game to win. And so it's all about making deals and walking through other people's stuff, but then halfway through they can totally betray you or kill you behind like where you were. And it's just this really intensely betrayal-heavy 2-hour Euro. It's a cool one.
And what was the name of it again?
Lisanne, Lyssan. It's actually how I met my friend Sam. So,
wow.
He designed it. He put it on Kickstarter, and then when it got to retail, it was just a little too heavy, a little too cutthroat, and it didn't ever quite hit with people. But it's such a fun little weird game I have, and I don't know anyone else has played it.
It is an uncommon blend, right, to have like a Euro with that betrayal mechanism in there. Yeah. So I can see where the audience that would really hit with is fairly narrow, but I bet that the people who like that kind of thing, that was pretty thrilling. Like, that's a cool thing. I love it when games kind of mix mechanisms that don't seem like they're a natural fit, and if they do it well, I think it just provides such a unique gaming experience. That's awesome. I want to try it now.
It's definitely a stab in the front type of game. Like, everyone knows who did it. Like, there's no hiding. There's no hidden betrayal in it. It's very much like, hey, I don't want you to get that victory point. This is what I'm doing to stop you. And so you have to like re-collude with everybody else at the table real fast.
Well, I guess Imhotep is a little that way. It's not specifically a traitor thing, but you're like, I'm helping you. I'm going to help you.
You're both lost. Let me find it at home.
I love moving boats with none of my cubes in it. I love moving other people's cubes in Imhotep.
Right?
You go there.
Yeah, I'm moving in no cubes in this boat for me. It's your cubes. Congrats. Now you really have. I was
playing with people, and they kept putting their cubes in the smallest boats first, so I could immediately move them every round. It was great.
You fools!
You fools!
Man.
All right, so sorry, you had a troll game.
Yeah, troll game.
Troll game? Well, it's the Betrayer game, right? So I was at a small local convention over the last weekend in this Bellevue, Washington area, and we got in a great couple games of Deception, Murder in Hong Kong.
I keep hearing about this game.
I love it.
Jamie Maltman.
I just played it this past weekend too, Suze. I was going to talk about that one.
Oh, so Jamie Maltman, who's local here, keeps like raving about it. I'm like, I needed to play this game.
Well, it's kind of like if Mysterium and the Resistance had a baby.
Wow.
Or Mysterium and Werewolf had a baby, because you have secret roles assigned. There's a murder, hence Murder in Hong Kong in the title, and one player is the murderer, and everybody else is trying to solve the crime. And the murderer in secret everybody has all these object cards in front of them, face up, and the murderer points to 2 of their object cards as kind of the weapon and the clue that was left behind. And the moderator can see what it is and things like that. And then everybody opens their eyes, and there are these placards with clue words on them. And the forensic scientist, who is the moderator, starts marking words on these boards to try to get people to guess what the weapon and the clue are.
Wow.
and you don't know who the murderer is, and if the game's big enough, you could have a witness, and you can have an accomplice that kind of adds that tension and a little extra, who are they? Are they on my side, etc. And I've actually played this game a bunch, and I've been impressed with how balanced it seems to be, because I've been in plenty of games where the murderer wins, and I've been in plenty of games where the investigation team wins. So I kind of like that it's not predictable. It really just it's always different every game, and it's so much fun. So I definitely recommend Deception Murder in Hong Kong, and it has that little it's great when you accuse somebody and it's not them, and then the murderer reveals himself at the end because you didn't catch them, and you're like, ha! Fun.
We played several of these games at Adult Game Night last Saturday, and I had never played before, but I'd wanted to play, and we played 3 games, and we won all of them, but or at least the non-murder won all of them. The first one was kind of a small game, but the second one was an 8-player game. And before the forensic scientist, I was like kind of that person, and I maybe made it unfun. But before the forensic scientist even finished putting stuff down, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna guess. Was it these? Was it Taylor with these? And she was like, yeah. So the game was over, and then we had to play another game. But
it was quick.
No, but it was because she was such a good forensic scientist. So, Brandy, if you're watching, you're just an amazing forensic scientist, and that's why you're awesome. So the thing about that game is, even if you're the murderer and, if you lose or win or whatever real quick, you just play another game. It's so setup is nothing, basically. I mean, shuffling some cards and redealing them out. And then the gameplay could be pretty quick, because you kind of give everyone, you could choose what the time limit is. I don't know, do the rules officially say, 30 seconds for each player to make their case, Suze, or... We just kind of roundabout said that.
Yeah.
Or do you play where everybody all talks at the same time?
No, we've played a lot. At least when we played over the weekend, we did kind of do a quick round robin.
Yeah.
And then went back to the next round, because it just, depending on the players, if you have a quieter player and things like that, the round robin just makes it really easy for everybody to get a turn. Right. And then also the murderer can't hide. You force them to kind of be creative, and sometimes it stands out when their story just doesn't quite gel and things like that. So yeah, we found the quick round robin to work really well for us.
Wow, that sounds interesting. I always like those sorts of games that do have a bit of a quicker playtime, because if it there's a couple of people in chat who are saying that they've had some bad experiences recently with this kind of game, and if you get really stuck in a game like that, it can be really disheartening. Whereas if it's something like One Night Ultimate Werewolf, that's a completely hit and roll game, plays in 10 minutes, and so if you don't like it, you can just tap out at that end of the 10 minutes. You're like, this wasn't for me, I didn't really get it. But the quick play games are great as well, for the same reason that you said. You can just bang out another one straight after if you had a lot of fun. You're like, oh, God, I get this now. I know what I should have done differently. Let's play again. And especially with One Night, where it's oh, I was the werewolf. I want to try again to see if I can, be somebody different and try a different tactic. So the shortness of a lot of those games, I think, is good for both sides of the coin, which is nice.
Right. It doesn't leave so it's kind of a double-edged sword. So it could make it more aggressive, because you have to hurry. So in a game like One Night Ultimate Werewolf, if you have a lot of strong personalities playing, they could kind of run the game and get really kind of in your face aggressive. And some people don't care for that in gameplay. For me, it just depends on how that is. I'm okay with some aggressive gameplay as long as we're all really still friends and super chill. But so that's kind of an aggressive one, and then Resistance is a little aggressive. But then there are games like Spyfall that have come out that I've called them passive-aggressive games, because they're not as in your face of you did it and you're the spy. I mean, you're still going to accuse the spy at the end of the game, but in Spyfall, if you're not familiar, everyone except the spy will be given a location, and it's all the same location. The spy wants to try to find out at the end of the time, or before the end of time's up, where the location is, and then the people that are in the location want to kind of let the other people know that they are not a spy by saying things that they know about the location, but they also don't want to tip the spy off on what location they're at. And you'll ask direct questions to someone, like I would ask Suze, what kind of shoes are you wearing? And if we're at the beach, Suze might say, I'm not wearing any shoes, but there also might be some other locations where she might not wear shoes. Like she might be in space wearing like a whole space outfit that is not really shoes. It's like a onesie thing. Or she might say, I'm wearing sandals, and there might be other places that are appropriate for sandals to be worn. But it would kind of let me know, like, okay, Suze is probably safe. Because if we were in the Arctic or something like that and that was the location, she wouldn't risk it and just say that, not knowing anything about the location like the rest of us do. And then Suze would then ask someone else a question except for the person that just asked her. And then you go on like that for a little bit until the spy either feels like they know where you are, or the people feel like they know who the spy is and they accuse someone, and it has to be unanimous. So, But it's also super quick, right? I mean, I think that one's 8 minutes too.
Yeah, 8 to 10 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, you can kind of set the time for whatever you want, whatever you and the players want the time to be. But so I call that one the passive aggressive game because it's not as you did it, you're the spy, you lose, we win. Do you guys have another? Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say I remember I played this game of Spyfall, and it was somewhat tense. Like there was definitely like some questions about who the spy was, but then somebody asked the question, what color is your clothing? And the answer was black, right? And black is such a safe answer for practically anything, right?
Yeah.
Except the location was the space station, and like the one color you don't wear in space.
I think I was there for that game.
It's like, was this the one like at the
Was it at Mox?
Yeah. Okay, yeah. And it was like,
wow.
And everybody was immediately, spy!
Yeah.
Like, it was just like, you knew it instantly. And it was just a lot of fun. Like, it was hilarious. And so I love games. I think that Trader games, Troll games, they are unique in that they kind of give you that energetic moment. Sometimes it's super fun.
I still get really nervous anytime I'm dealt the spy. I'm immediately hives, sweating. I'm trying to think of an alibi for myself if I go to jail. That one game that we played at Mox where I was the spy and I thought the location was casino because people said people walk by and we'll just go in there and stuff like that. There was stuff like that said and like bright colors and comments about the food. But I thought we were at a casino, and then Chris asked me a question about, do you have these in Arkansas or something like that? And I said, no, we don't have these in Arkansas because we don't have casinos. And the answer was restaurants. So everyone was like, Stephanie's the spy. You don't have restaurants in Arkansas? No, we don't have those. So.
Wow.
They make me super nervous because I am not great at bluffing because this face tells everything.
Well, I think it's tough as well because if you don't really know the locations, you get dealt the spy card and you're like trying to look at the thing with the locations but not look at it. And so
that's why the reference cards that Suze made are amazing.
Also, everybody has them. Yeah.
Yes. So they have all the locations on it. It actually helps you think of good questions too.
Yep.
So even if you're not the spy, it's good to look at those.
Yeah. Oh, that's helpful.
Marguerite, and Steph, both of you, because you both have retail experience. I mean, I think a lot of Trader games, I think, Marguerite, like the example you used, is unique, but it feels like a lot of the Trader games are kind of party-ish, lighter in feel, right? Because they're like they accommodate a higher player count, and they might be good for people who aren't like really deep gamers. Maybe I'm overgeneralizing, but how do they sell? Like for your relative stores, are they really popular? Do people? It just seems like they kind of have a weird mass appeal, but I'm not in retail, so I don't know.
I think people love the idea of lying to their friends.
Well, our stores cater to a younger crowd and a more like date night bar crawl kind of crowd, if that makes sense. So just the way our stores are built, you want those bigger social games. Deduction is also an interesting, the rule sets are usually more straightforward than a lot of types of games. They accommodate greater, like, wider ranges of players. They're cheaper. Like a game of like Resistance or Coup Ku's like a $15 game. So it's an easy sell. Cockroach Poker, anything in that kind of genre, it's gonna do better than big $60 games unless they've got a name like Ticket to Ride. It's one of our best sellers from the moment we open the doors, especially once the Resistance hit.
Wow. I love the Resistance. I bring it to every convention. Those games are really good convention games too, right?
Like Mafia de Cuba.
Oh yeah.
We
have to speak of it again.
I know. I love telling the story, and I wish that we could tell it again. There's probably half the viewers that have already heard the story about how Marguerite's the permanent thief for my Mafia de Cuba game. But yeah, those games are really good convention games. I bring a lot of those types of games, like Fake Artist Goes to New York, which Sue's got for me, to conventions.
I think
it's so wee. It's like
the key of those is like they have a small footprint, box-wise and
usually,
table-wise, and they're usually like a couple of minutes to teach max, which makes it super great for like.
It's true.
If you're at a board game cafe or pub. If you're at a meetup where you don't know people and you're like, let's play this, like this is how it goes, boom, let's go. I think that's a really.
It can be hard if you're the new player and you end up getting the spy or whatever. Though. that can be kind of challenging.
Yeah.
But you know, you don't have to teach people how to lie and bluff. Those are things that we as humans already know how to do, apparently. So that part of the rules is already taken care of.
Someone in chat just mentioned Dark Moon, and that was actually on my list. In a kind of complete like 360 or 180 or some turning thing.
Some angle.
Some angle away from the short games to a slightly longer game. Not quite as long as the probably most famous hidden trader game. BSG, Battlestar Galactica, but Dark Moon is like maybe a 45-minute game, and it's got dice rolling, and it's got a lot of bluffing, and it's got, depending on the amount of players, you maybe have one or two traders. It's one of those ones like Dead of Winter where maybe you won't have a trader at all in the way that it's dealt out, but I find that game so fulfilling to play because you really get into the mind games and the bluffing and the hiding what you're trying to do with like hidden dice rolls and stuff. So if I want to have a longer experience with a game like that, like that's always going to be in my collection. I like such a huge fan of that game.
And it's a good medium between Coup, Resistance, those types of games, and then Battlestar Galactica because it's smaller time frames, you know, shorter length.
Yeah.
And also, you could just not get great dice rolls. So you do kind of have something to fall back on, whereas you're not just straight up lying or bluffing. You could say, you know, oh, I don't have the dice to help out this round.
Oh, no.
Sorry, you know. I rolled all ones or, you know, minuses. You know, I didn't roll anything good, so I can't contribute a whole lot. Yeah. So you have something to kind of fall back on. So it's kind of a good intro to those longer long con bluffing deduction type games for sure.
And you get to reveal yourself at some point if you want to, and the end, like, you know, however you like, depending on the consent around the table. Consent is key, people.
Is it cool if I reveal everybody?
Yeah. Do you mind?
Yeah.
But I like that part where if you're a trader, you make it known and you keep playing the game. Whereas a lot of games kind of ends when, like Spyfall, it's like, oh, I'm a spy, I'm gonna guess where we are, and that's it, the game's over, kind of thing. So yeah, I like Dark Moon a lot.
I did want to mention before we move on that Scott Nicholson brought up a game that he made, Faking It, which you can get for free in Google Play for Android, and that's kind of like Spyfall.
Nice.
I've never played it, so I'm gonna check it out for sure. I know there are some kind of apps and browsers that you can use Spyfall for. I don't know how mobile friendly they are.
They're pretty mobile friendly. I've used the Spyfall.meteor one, whatever it is. It's pretty good.
But Faking It is free, so that's something that you can check out. So thanks for that, Scott. Also,
nice.
Maggie, I agree. Everyone's a toaster, for sure.
Well, we were talking about Shadowhunters as well in the chat.
I'm so bad at that game.
I've never played it.
So
Never played it either.
it is dice roll heavy, and it is a game I like, so it's very unique for me. But
so let's give like a quick overview of the game.
That's what I was doing.
Do it.
Shadowhunters is 4 to 8 players. Everyone is dealt out a secret character, and you are either a shadow and allied with other shadows, a hunter and allied with other hunters, or a neutral and allied with whoever you damn well please. It's written on your card. And your whole goal in the game is to suss out who's on your team and complete your objective. If you're a hunter, you have to kill all the shadows. If you're a shadow, you have to kill all the hunters. And if you're a neutral, you get like wackadoodle powers, like you need the person to your left to win, or you need like to be the only man standing, or you need to be the first to be killed, which is kind of a fun one too. And so based on what your goal is, you start, you walk around this little town, and every space in the town has a special power, and you either start, and Tony hates this, he's in the chat going, oh, I hate when people do this, but you can either just start randomly punching people to try and get their loyalty, like, out of them, or you can use these really cool mechanism in the game, but it's really hard to use because it's a random how you get the cards. There are the hermit cards, and you pick up a hermit card, you read it, and it says something like, you are a hunter, lose 1 life. And you choose someone else at the table to read this card, and if it's true, they would lose the life or do whatever it says, and if it's false, you just say, and nothing happens. And it's this fun little, like, one-on-one communication thing with you secretly getting to know something about that person. And then you can lie for the rest of the game about what that said or did or what it meant, and it's a really cool mechanism, but I've yet to see that really well implemented in a different game.
It's quite unique. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that where there is that, like, moving around locations, getting cards, dice rolling thing, but also trying to suss other people out. Like, I'm just so terrible at it. Like, I love the way the game plays. I think it's fascinating. Like, those hermit cards are fantastic, and the experience of trying to suss people out is so great. But without fail, I'm just terrible. Every time I'm just like, anybody could be anybody. I don't know what they're doing. Like,
but I end up doing a lot of the time, depending on what your power is. So I didn't neglected to mention this. Everyone gets a power. So if you're the werewolf, you get to punch back. If you're a vampire, you punch people and steal their life. What's nice is that you can reveal to use that power anytime you want. So you can, early, as you guys were saying, like, you could reveal yourself to be, I am a hunter, but then all the other hunters at the table know to try and keep you alive, and you kind of start identifying who the shadows are just based on who's trying to kill you. And a lot of the time, that's how I win, is like the best time to reveal and figuring that out. I think that's like the key.
So do you do that early? Is that like a good strategy to have at least? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
If you're a werewolf, it's actually, to my opinion, is that it's really beneficial early because you get a full attack if someone attacks you. So it kind of incentivizes people to go elsewhere, and you can work on trying to work out what people are. And
the werewolf is bad? Is that the traitor of the game?
No, it's just one of the factions. It's just on I think it's on the shadow team.
So just the shadows are.
Well, you get
hunters
everyone has a unique character.
Okay.
Yeah, which that's the one thing that the game really needs, and there's a Japanese-only expansion, I believe, but it needs more character cards, it needs more equipment cards, because after you play a few times, you kind of get used to what all the things do and what they all mean. It would be really nice to see more content.
Or a way to, like, maybe randomize it, give it a scenario or something, an objective maybe that you could do.
Simpler than that. It generally just is a nice, like, sweet, simple game, so I wouldn't want to complicate it too much.
Yeah.
But, like I said, lots of dice. It's a really, really, really light game.
That's one I find really tough to play with strangers.
Yeah.
Actually.
It's not fun with strangers.
I'm okay to sit down and play, like, Resistance or Coup or even One Night Ultimate Werewolf with people I don't know very well, but Shadowhunters is really tough for me with people I don't know for whatever reason.
Because you can still kind of puzzle things out, right? Like, you have information and data that you can analyze, which is what I love of those games. So in One Night Ultimate Werewolf, you can be like, if you're the troublemaker and you switch them, then you're the werewolf, and you're saying you're the seer, but you're saying you're the seer, but your story checks out, yours doesn't. So there's things that you can kind of, like, puzzle out without just knowing someone's personality and whether they're lying or not. Same thing with Resistance, and then same thing with Coup, based on the information that you know from either the cards in the middle or what people have said that they are and what they've revealed later. So those are the games that are better for me. where I don't have to straight up figure out if someone's lying to me. Because I jokingly say in these games, this is why I have trust issues. I don't actually have trust issues, but I say that a lot in these games. There's usually a moment where I'm like, literally all of you fuckers are lying to me. So,
yeah, during One Night Ultimate Werewolf, it's tough for me because if I'm playing with my my other half, Adam, he lies from the beginning just to get information out of people, and then like a few minutes in, he's like, "I've been lying. I'm this," and I'm just like, and I watch people like, "What?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I knew he'd be lying this whole time. Like it's how he plays the game, just to be able to get information out of people." It drives me nuts.
And see, I actually don't love a lot of these games. Like, I know this is going to be unpopular opinion time, but I used to really love the Resistance, and maybe I played it out, but and like Shadows over Camelot, I'm not in love with, and I like the super quick light party ones. Like, I like One Night Ultimate Werewolf, and I love Fake Artists. Like, I adore Fake Artists, right, left, and sideways, whatever. But also, like, I'm looking at the chat, and like a lot of people are like, I love playing these games with strangers, and I hate playing these games with strangers. Not necessarily because of tells or things like that, but if you're not, if somebody walks into the game and they're either not well prepped for what the game is about and how it works, or even if they do, sometimes some people don't deal with betrayal well. And like while some of the most fun I've had in these games, like that moment in Spyfall, right? I'll never forget that. Yeah. I'm wearing black. Like, like, those are great moments. Yeah. But I some of my worst moments have been too with like people in these games where they get like take it personally when you lie to them, or like you trick them that you were on the loyalist team and you're really on the Resistance team and things like that, and like people are like yelling and mad, and then they metagame and they take their anger into the next game and things like that. And at least when I'm playing with people I know, I'm playing with people that I know how they'll react, and they take it in good fun and they have fun with it. Whereas like with strangers, I always get like a little extra tense because I'm like, okay, I hope they are good sports about this kind of thing. I'm sure that's just kind of my quirk on it. But
no, that's totally valid. Yeah.
During Gen Con, I got stuck in a 2 and almost a half-hour game where I hit someone almost round 1, and for the rest of the game, they decided just to take me out of the game in a playtest. So I mean, that's what you risk playing these types of betrayal games with people you don't know and don't know how to gauge well. Yeah. And unfortunately, his wife was also playing, so she also decided that I needed to not be in that game. And that's always a tricky one. Like, if people are playing with couples, you have to know whether or not they're, like, in it for the game or if they're in it for, like, a social reason.
Gotta separate.
Well.
Come on.
I will always accuse
It was ugly, too. I was, like, sitting there on my phone the whole time. I'm like, yeah, I can't do anything. You guys have fun.
Yeah. I love you, but I will murder you.
Yeah. Adam is always the werewolf, and he is always on the opposing team in the Resistance. Like, that's just how it is. It's like, it's weird. It's weird how those cards get dealt out. I don't understand it.
Yeah. As Dr. Hannah mentioned, I am always the werewolf in One Night Ultimate Werewolf. That is fact. That is truth.
Oh.
I'm always
That's good knowledge. Oh, let's play One Night Ultimate Werewolf.
Just vote for me, basically. Also, we played View Scream, which is not a tabletop game, but it's a game that you actually play on Google Hangouts. Mags and I played.
So fun.
It was so much fun. This is kind of a sort of hidden role game too, but you've basically got to be the last person to survive, and you have some objectives that you have to complete, and there's someone that DMs the game, but they actually have objectives too. And you're given a little bit of a backstory and how you're basically on a spaceship. Is typically the setting. I think there are some different scenarios, like you just came out of life support or something. Maybe someone's life support, like someone else's didn't make it over here, but we're the survivors, and there's like one escape pod. You've got to figure out who sabotaged the ship. In that game, I wish that we had recorded it because I successfully bluffed my way into being the last survivor of the game. and I betrayed Mags. Helped me out, and I betrayed her.
You're terrible.
I was supposed to love you, though.
She was supposed to love me. So, yeah, so you're kind of given some information like about the other characters, like
I was supposed to hate Michael. I was supposed to think he was like just trash.
right.
Oh, this is fascinating. Wow.
Yeah, it's really cool. I kickstarted it, so you could get the scenarios and even overlays for the Hangout. So we had like space background, cool little like Minority Report, boop 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 boop, boop things on the screen. We'll have to play. We should actually do that for a Hangout one Friday, and we'll just play. And then the chat can chat about us and who they think is lying, liar face.
That would be amazing.
I would love to do that. So we need some more people, but I would love to DM that. And
I was going to say, can we just get John to come back?
We should, actually. We should just have John come back, because he was so good at it. I don't feel like I could get away with being a betrayer again.
But maybe you could, because I'd be like, no, well, she's not the betrayer.
She can't 2 in a row. Lightning never strikes twice. Yeah, no. I also play in a Forum Mafia game. I think I've talked about it before with some of my friends, and it's kind of the same thing, but we're all kind of communicating via text, so it's hard to tell when someone is lying or not. You can't just, you don't have this. So I'm actually much better at being the Mafia in those types of games than I am in person, like One Night Ultimate Werewolf or Spyfall or stuff like that. I take comfort in those text games, and like View Scream, kind of, I don't know, I felt better about that one too, because it wasn't like you could see everything that I was doing. You could only see what I showed you, and I felt better because we got to RP and stuff. So I was like suffocating at one point, so I was like losing oxygen, and that was how I got the sympathy of Mags to help me out.
That's so good.
So I was tugged on her heartstrings and pretend like I was dying. So.
A big old softie.
And what is it about space and Traitor games? Like space, sci-fi, it's just right for it.
It is so right for it. I mean, I guess there's, fantasy-themed ones too. Spy, agent, secret agent stuff.
There's a lot of like water ones, like Survive and Lifeboat and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's anytime you're in a really vulnerable position, like in space or in the middle of the ocean or dragons, like that's all ripe for people betraying and doing bad things.
We need to think of a good Traitor game where you're just in a completely safe and comfortable space. Where you would never imagine a game. Like you're in a dentist office. Okay.
Well, how is that safe? Please.
No, I got one.
You just sent like half the viewers into like a heart attack because you said
you're
dentist.
at the coffee shop and you're trying to swipe someone else's coffee when it comes out.
Oh.
Yeah, that's good.
Or like everybody's on a couch.
White mocha. Totally, that's me. Totally.
Everybody's on a couch and you don't know where the remote is, but like channels keep changing and you're like, who's got the remote? And, like, it's not me. It must be Bob. Like Bob's like, no, I don't have the remote. It must be Simone. And Simone's like, no, I don't have the remote.
That could be an expansion for the networks, right?
I really want a game called Who Has the Remote?
Have you ever seen? There's an Australian movie called Remote Control. Have you ever seen that?
No.
There's like what? Australian comedy called Remote Control, and it's like a 2-hour-long looking for my remote movie.
How have I not seen this?
It was like the Australian dude, where's my car? It's free and ridiculous.
I want to see this movie now. I want to see it for sure.
Oh my god. But I think maybe I'll talk to Gil and see if he wants a party game, the network's party game, Where's My Remote?
Bob Wyman says, who cut the cheese? The Traitor game.
Oh.
Yeah.
The dog did it.
First one who smelt it, dealt it.
Dealt it. That would have to be a card in the game for sure.
First one who denied it, supplied it. Oh yeah, I was mature. I was mature in elementary school. What else?
Battle Starbucks Galactica. Oh, I prefer Bottle Store Galactica myself.
One Night Ultimate Kindergarten.
Wow.
I have to give credit.
I don't think we've really brought up a lot of the one versus many kind of hidden roly Traitor games yet. I I'm so bummed I missed out on the last Friday at Gen Con. But I think one of the like all-time classic board games is Scotland Yard, and that's a great one versus many
Oh,
game. Like,
yeah.
so fun. Yeah.
Do you like that better than Letters from Whitechapel?
I actually kind of do. Letters from
And that's all the
Whitechapel
time we have for Nicole on the show today.
I like Letters from Whitechapel, but there's a point where I'm like, oh, I lived in London for a while, and I went to the places where these women were murdered, and I feel really like, oh, about the game. But that's like a really personal thing for me. Like, I just feel like weird about it. So Scotland Yard is easier for me to play and just have fun and not even think.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fair.
So.
Stephanie, you have an opinion, apparently.
Yeah, you love Letters from Whitechapel, girl.
Actually, they're both great. I have opinions on the OG Fury of Dracula.
Oh, I've never played that.
I wish I could say the same. A little bit. This is a safe space. This is an honest space.
Yeah.
They've made a lot of positive changes and implemented a lot of things in the new edition that I think thumbs up for sure. I haven't gotten to play it, but I've heard about it.
I've heard better things about that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard the things that they changed, and I was like, good. Those are the problems that I had with the game. The combat was kind of wonky, but it was a much older game, so it didn't benefit from the community that we have now to playtest games. So the theme is great, but there was one card in the game that Dracula had that they could literally play. And now they did have to draw this card and have it in their hand, so they might not get it, right? But there are so many opportunities for them to draw cards. And the card goes, you can move anywhere on the board. Anywhere. So you've been playing for hours trying to track Dracula, and now you're like, we know where Dracula is, and Dracula's like, no, you don't. Could be anywhere. Mm-hmm. And then you have to basically start over. It's like start the game over now. Mm-hmm. So I take issue with that because, again, as the person that loves data and trying to figure out, like, that's what I love about Letters from Whitechapel. Okay, if they took a coach so they could be here, 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 or here, and then from there they could go here, but they probably went over here. That's what I need. And so for you to just go, oh, all this data, Stephanie, that you took. Gone. Start all over. I would just be like, So, I like Letters from Whitechapel. It's just a good, simple, hidden movement game, I think, in my opinion. So, I think it's... I haven't actually ever played Spectre Ops, but...
It's great. It's really, but as
I've heard
feelings about it. Don't play it at the full complement of players. Like, at 5 players, it's really frustrating.
What, Spectre Ops?
You get this all of a sudden, someone's like, oh, surprise, I'm a traitor. It's like, like, no. It just, like, it messed with our game and was not fun at all. But at 4 players, it's, like, a real sweet spot for a hidden movement game. I really, really liked it. Really liked it.
It's got some extra bells and whistles for sure, so,
yeah. And they have an app for it now instead of actually having to do...
Well, it's coming out soon. It'll be out soon, yeah.
Okay.
But, I think that's one of my problems with like the one versus many hidden movement games is that, and I love Spectre Ops a lot. Mm-hmm. I just for some reason it clicks. I like the theme. I think it's the aesthetics help too. But
it's very atmospheric.
It is. I think a lot of them go on too long for me. Mm. So like Stephanie, where you're like and I haven't played Fury of Dracula. I own the new edition, but I haven't played it yet. But when you're like, wipe the board clean, and it's like, that just sounds like a nightmare to me.
Right.
No thank you. So, I mean, I think that Whitechapel suffers from that for me, too. And I played a lot of Letters from Whitechapel. And it's like, depending on the group and stuff like that. So that's definitely one of my things on those types of games in general. But I did get to play, we were talking in the chat a little bit, and I did get to play Captain Sonar over the weekend, which isn't,
I
like,
did
I
too.
feel like...
Did we have identical weekends?
We were like mirror universes.
We're basically the same person.
I feel like it's a little off our topic tonight, but it is hidden movement.
Yeah.
Where you're team based, and I would only ever play it again. I loved it. I would only play it at 6 people or at 8 people. At those exact player counts are the only
100%.
player counts I will ever play it in.
And explain Captain Sonar just briefly, real quick.
So Captain Sonar is a team-based game where you play competitive submarine teams trying to find and destroy the opponent's submarine. And each person on the team has a very specific role, whether you're the captain, whether you're the first mate, or whether you're the navigator or the radio operator. And it's real time. There is a turn-based option, but really to me it's meant to be played real time. If anybody's ever played Artemis, the kind of space video game that you play in a team, it's very similar, and you'll love. If you like Artemis, you'll love Captain Sonar. Definitely people who hate real time, it's not for you. It's definitely not for you. I mean, just let's be honest. But I love real time, and you're kind of tracking movement. It's kind of like Artemis meets Battleship, because you're making these secret movements on a board, and the radio operator, you're saying them out loud, and then the radio operator is trying to listen to what you're saying and map it out on their own screen, and then you're loading torpedoes and loading mines and firing mines, and there's all these things you have to draw in an erase, and it's manic and wild and frenetic and so much fun. It's definitely, if any of that sounds appealing, it's definitely worth a play. It's pretty cool.
I actually found it not quite so intense, and I don't know if it was just the people that I played with. We had a 6-player game, so it was 3 people per team. We played the real-time one, not the turn-based one, so I had 2 roles as the captain. But it wasn't like Space Cadets frantic. It was like things were happening and moving and all that, but like it wasn't like I remember playing Space Cadets Dice Duel at the Gauntlet in Seattle, and we were just like throwing dice and shouting and being like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Whereas Captain Sonar is a little bit just more like you're like really with your team, and you're like, I think I can do this, and they're here, and now we like let's clear this, and now we can shoot the torpedo, and stuff will happen, and it'll be amazing. And that seemed less stressful to me somehow. Than other kind of real-time games, so I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
I kind of so we played with 8 people, and we played at adult game night. It was one of the first games that we played, and actually, I think I posted a picture of it, but my friend Taylor made this big screen for it, like huge, like these huge screens, way bigger than what the game provides for you, and it was really cool. But for us, the game, it didn't feel like frenetic, and I kind of wanted it to go either way. Like I know that there's a mode that you can play where it's turn-based, and so it's kind of like chill. But I've heard people say that it looks boring when you watch people playing that, but I don't know if those people are having a good time or not. But for me, it didn't seem... In Space Cadets Dice Duels, there's like little goals, and there are certainties, so you know, because you can visually see everything, so you know where their ship is. Yeah. You know that if you launch a torpedo, you're going to hit their ship. And so I think that makes it more like, and then if you're the ship being chased, you're like, we got to get away, move, hurry, like, you know, give us movement dice. But in Captain Sonar, I just feel like there are some mechanisms in the game that can make it impossible for the radio officer to know where the other ship is, and so you're just like, I don't know where they are. And you could just, both of you just roam around the whole map going, we don't know where you are. I mean, there are ways to kind of figure out, like with the sonar and the drone and stuff like that, but still, by the time you know, I don't know. It lasted a really long time, and we ended up calling the game a little bit early because it just took a long time. but yeah. So I was kind of like, I don't know. It didn't feel completely satisfying for me, and I was really excited about this. And this is coming from a person that loves Artemis, loves Space Cadets Dice Duel. That could be also the issue, is that I wanted that same feel, and I didn't have that with Captain Sonar. So whereas you, Nicole, you're like, this is, I can focus on this, and this is better.
Yeah.
I kind of, I think, just wanted that, and it seems to be really hard for the radio officer.
Yeah, I guess it depends. Like, we played it in like one of the hotel lobbies at Gen Con, and it was quiet, so I think that really helped.
Yeah.
And we didn't have too many mistakes with our radio operators. And I think even though I had 2 things to do, it wasn't super tough. Yeah, I don't think it was a really big deal for me doing 2 roles. So I think 6 players at real time was really good for it. Even as someone who had just tried it for the first time, like, I had a really great time, and it was like a real cat and mouse. Like, we would try and do something, the other team would try and shoot us, and then we kind of got closer and closer to knowing where we were. And we'd done about the same amount of damage to each other, and then all of a sudden the other team was like, oh, we know where they are, and they just got us. And so it was just this, like, great build-up of tension, and then it was over. And we just kind of sat there when it was over. I was like, oh, I should have done this, and I should have done that, and oh, no. And I really, like, I thought about it for a couple of weeks after, like, the experience and what I could have done, and that was really the only game that I played at Gen Con that really stuck with me that way. So I feel like that's a good sign.
I would play it again. We were also playing with, like, people, not a lot of people that really knew each other, so working together as a team, I think, can be kind of challenging.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of people's first time, so you aren't aware of your strengths, so you might have sat down at engineering and been like, yeah, I can do this, but then realized this is really not my jam. I would have been a lot better as radio officer. So
I missed a lot of things.
I was captain, so it was kind of a lot for me to keep track of, but I actually thought that role was pretty easy.
Yeah.
And then I think that I would have done better in like the radio position.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, me personally, not better than our radio officer. Like, I would have done better in that one. But yeah, I mean, we all like, we didn't hate it, but it was kind of, it wasn't what a lot of us expected. So
I think all that sounds fair. Like, you know, all that makes sense.
But again, I don't hate it. I would play it again.
I think repeat plays of it would help. Like, I forgot things I could do as captain, and whatever the other one was where I was like coloring in the stuff.
The first bait.
Yeah. So it was like, oh man, like, I could have done that a couple of turns ago and it would have been really great, but I wasn't familiar enough to keep it all in my head. So I think a couple more plays of it would be good, and I had a great time with it. So
what's Eric playing thinks that the only thing that Captain Sonar needs is a bunch of hats for the players. Sure. Why not? Like like a captain hat. Engineer
I like
hat.
this idea. I like this
too.
idea. It's a good idea.
Is Mags on her refill drink yet? I feel like I haven't seen it.
I just poured the bitters into it.
Woo.
So it's ready. This one has cut up plums.
Oh, that's a pretty one. I like that drink.
I'm gonna have another grape. It's time. It's time for my second grape.
I also, because I learned from Maggie, and I also permanently have the shaker full of backup straight vodka. I mean, I could be bluffing.
Yes.
This could be water. This could be water.
I was gonna say, why don't you just pour it straight from the vodka?
It's not water. Because I wanted it cold, because this has ice in it.
Ooh.
You can see it has ice in it. This is our brief ASMR. 5 seconds of ASMR tapping.
Start this.
That's nice.
There should be, you know what, they should do, this is totally off topic, but they should do a game that incorporates, I mean, I know this won't be completely accessible, but a game that incorporates sound and not speech, but sound more. Are there games like that?
Were you going to say it, Mags?
Mortimer Rosa?
Yep.
I can almost reach it from here. It's right over there.
Oh yeah, with the
Max
the
always
power.
has the games that I randomly bring up, like right.
That's
There.
because you and I have almost the same taste in games and all the other things. We have a pretty good overlap.
Yeah.
Have you seen that new game coming out of Taiwan that uses scent?
No, I
It's
haven't.
a perfume. Out of Taiwan, and they're releasing it at Essen, I think. But the Taiwan board game designers group, they have this game called The Perfumer or something like that, and it literally, like, the components are scented, and that's a mechanism in the game. And
Wow.
part of me really, 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 really wants to try it, and part of me never, ever, 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 ever wants to try it. I don't know what to think about it.
Yeah, I smelled the adventure scents at Gen Con. I don't know if ladies have had the chance to smell those. They are little scent beads for your role-playing games, or just anything, really, if you want.
Wow.
But they have some good smells, this is my personal opinion, and some bad smells, also my personal opinion, but also their opinion, because there's like moldy, rotten crypt is a scent that you can have. Or something.
They're there to set atmosphere, right? So they actually make...
Right.
Sounds cool,
Battlefield.
though.
Battlefield is a scent, and it's like rust and copper, like blood, and and they really are foul. They're foul.
They're like the smell version of the Jelly Belly's Birdie Bots Every Flavored Bean.
Yes.
Oh my
Yes.
I
gosh.
was thinking of the John Waters movie
too.
Smellorama.
Or that one where it's
That's
like
right.
you don't
Oh,
know if the bean will taste like vomit or if it will taste like.
But no one wants that. No one.
Bean Boozled. Bean
No,
Boozled.
why?
Boozled.
We should
That was
also
like the
play-
game.
Why would you
Also
do that
play-
to yourself?
We should play Bean Boozled on the show. We should do that to ourselves.
I would be happy to do that if I got to pick the flavors and it was just like, uh-oh, it's buttered popcorn.
Oh,
No, ma'am.
what a shame.
No, we don't set things up on this show. This is real. We keep it real. You'd be eating that buttered popcorn, but it would be earwax. Bam.
Oh.
Yeah. In your mouth, earwax.
No, stop it.
Science is amazing.
Science is amazing.
It's just as well I can't eat those things, so I'll be the moderator of that game.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We could do other things, though, Nicole. We could do other things.
Oh, yeah?
Um,
Should we take
I
this to, like, a private chat?
I
Or?
smell all my games when I first open them. You know, I do love that new game smell.
Ooh.
That,
I
like,
do not. I
You
don't.
don't? It depends. It depends
No,
on
I
where
have
it's
seen,
from.
like, Patrick Nichol will sit there and, like,
has a physical reaction to
if
games.
you're opening a game, he will grab every component and just sniff it.
Yeah.
Like, he's totally about that, like, booster pack smell.
Yeah.
I can't
The
stand
booster
it.
smell.
That fresh ink smell, it makes me sick.
So Adam loves to open a game and smell it and be like, "Oh, this was made in Europe. I can smell it. it's a European printing." Or he'll
made
that
in
corn
Europe.
open and it'll be like, "Printed in China. Definitely
Smells
printed in China."
like, yeah.
He just knows. He just knows.
It's nasal. It's a little bit nasal profiling, but
It is a little bit. I mean,
Nasal profiling. Or when you get like a Victory Point game or one of the companies that laser cuts their pieces and
And
it's
it's
got that
dusty.
burn.
that burn.
Yeah.
Yep, that burn.
We had
Now,
these,
see,
like-
Mags likes that.
We had
I do too.
$100 puzzles. They were these laser cut beautiful puzzles, and you could smell them, like the case that it came in, like the cardboard box. You'd be able to smell that like burnt wood smell through it. It was so good.
Wow.
That was the stuff.
I know it's pricey, but I wish more games use that kind of stuff. Although I was kind of excited because like Grant Rodiak, who does Hyperbole games, who does Farmageddon and Hocus and
Cry Havoc.
and yeah, and then that's published Portal, but
Hype
Grant designed it, right? He's got something up his sleeve with some like abstract game that he's designed, and I know he's
Tell me more.
and he's working with Chris Urinko on some trouble because he's posting all these wood prototypes and they like these laser etched wood.
Yeah.
And hello, gorgeous! They are
It
so
is
beautiful.
really nice.
Well,
The
did you
game
guys
looks
see
super cool.
Benny Sperling had the grilling game. Gosh, I'm forgetting the name. It's right over there.
Yakitori.
But,
Yakitori.
Yakitori, And that was just so beautifully done, and that was like
Oh, yeah.
Chris Granko's first kind of board game publishing thing. I think Grant's is called Druids, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Someone
it should be
posted
pretty
that
cool.
in chat.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. Like, I've been looking at it, and he's really active on Twitter, and he keeps on posting all these pictures. I'm like, every time he posts pictures, I just think, oh, I want this game so much. So
Yeah.
hopefully,
Just get it out.
I know, like, just hurry up. Why are you making me wait? On one hand, I love seeing the designing process because it's just so fascinating to me. On the other hand, it just like it whets your appetite, and then waiting sucks basically. So, oh well. Is that Gidget? Where's Gidget?
It is Gidget.
Oh, she's been so quiet. It's
I know
hardly,
she
like-
has been.
Yeah.
She's been laying down over here watching me. So maybe she's comfortable in her fame. now.
Maybe she had a piece of fruit in booze. I mean,
Yeah, maybe she's sniffing
Who
it.
knows?
I would never do that. to
she's
my
like,
cat. Animals
the
don't have
lemon.
livers that can process that like we do necessarily.
but there is cat wine, so you should get on that, girl.
Oh my gosh, she needs that. Like, come on, she needs to chill out. Need to just
Mom, let's just get drunk and watch movies
Run
and
that
talk.
I've reached peak cat lady when I am getting drunk with my cat and playing a coffee roaster by myself while watching Star Trek.
What's the problem?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I see no problem.
So have we got any more trolly, hidden traitor, bluffy?
We haven't really
things?
talked about any like troll-specific games. I kept thinking of goblin games, but that's not the same thing. So someone brought up the weird troll game.
The Oink Games one?
It's literally called Weird Troll Game.
Oh, I thought you meant the Oink Games one. Susan's got
What's
that
the
one.
Oink one? Is it called Troll?
Yeah, it's called Troll.
It's literally called Troll.
That's
Yeah,
one that I don't
it's right
have. I have 4 or 5 of them, but that is one that I do not have.
What is Troll?
Troll is a push your luck game.
Oh.
And players are all going into the cave of the troll to try to steal its jewels. And it's kind of a blind bidding thing where you secretly reveal, like, the troll has a threshold. Like, there's these troll cards that have random thresholds. And everybody's turning over kind of how many they want to take from the troll. And whoever pushes the threshold, whoever exceeds the threshold gets chased down and loses it. And there's ways you can get double points, and the ways you can, which could also impact you if you get negative points and things like that. So it's kind of a simple little push your luck game. But, with Oink, the components and design are flipping out of control.
Right.
And, for
Control. I'm sorry.
for 20 bucks, like, why the heck not,
Yeah.
Like, the little troll cards are so, like...
I'm gonna have to give that
There's
a try.
Troll Holla.
Oh yeah.
Oh, gosh.
What? Holla.
Yeah.
The Elf Secret game, yeah.
Yeah.
I
Worker
don't know that
placement.
one.
Oh, you don't? Ryan Lockett does the art on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Troll Holla?
Yeah.
Things. It was like
Alf Siegert.
4 or 5 years ago now that they put that
Maybe
out.
even a little longer.
Let's see here. Let's find out. To the internet.
So,
looks like we're-
2011.
Looks like
2011
we're
is
dropping
when Troll Holla.
frames over on Twitch.
That's probably because I just opened up that browser, so I won't do that.
there is also
I'll stop.
during the Pears campaign, James Ernst got like trolled really, really hard. So he made a Trolls version of Pears. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It made me laugh so hard. It's like an internet Trolls version of Pears.
Oh wow.
I have it at work. We play it there every once in a while, and it was just because he was so frustrated with like all of these awful people on the internet saying horrible things to them about cheap ass games, and he made like a really funny version of it.
I love that he took that and did something like fun with it. That's really great.
Well, I mean that's totally up his sense of humor. Right?
That's totally yeah.
What else would have trolls? Probably Small World has trolls in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Surely. Oh, Legends of Andor has trolls in it.
Yes.
Which is a
great game.
cooperative game, and we were talking about it on Twitter today. Someone was saying, so this is a game that is what I would consider affordable, because it has standees instead of miniatures, but one of the comments was, I don't want these standees, they look cheap, and I'd rather have miniatures, which I would love to have miniatures for this game, but the way that it plays the scenarios,
you literally don't need miniatures.
I just feel like, you don't need miniatures in any game. You don't need them, right? I mean, it's not a need, but yeah, I don't have a whole lot of desire to paint them, so
yeah, that's true. Having printed art is really nice on a standee because it's like, oh, it's a little warrior lady or whatever.
For me, miniatures, if it's something new and different, I want to paint it. But if it's like Legends of Andor is pretty basic as far as fantasy themes go. So there's trolls and gores and stuff like that. A dragon. So all of those things are cool, but I don't have a lot of that's unique. I want to paint those because I have a lot of those painted, so the standees are fine for me because that's not the thing that I'm focusing on for the game. But Legends of Andor is a great game. Some of the scenarios are super hard and has a really clever way of teaching you how to play the game, and that you just play the intro scenario, and it teaches you the things that you can do, how to go to the merchant and buy items, how to go and have combat and defeat foes, and how you can team up with your other player.
If you are a Euro player, you will hate learning Legends of Andor. I will tell you right now that was my least favorite.
I'm a Euro player.
Well, you are an Omni player who really likes
I'm not
different
exclusive
styles of things. But my goodness, the lack of rulebook in Legends of Andor, at least the first version that they put out, I don't know if Tames and Cosmos has changed this, but you were supposed to just read this stupid card one line at a time and kind of do stuff until you were in the middle of the game.
But I think it's clever.
Oh my god, it was the worst thing ever. It was horrible.
I think it's good for people who haven't played a lot of games like that before, but it is frustrating where you're like, oh, I want to know blah, but there's no book to look it up in.
I
was ready to rip those rules cards up.
You could definitely look all that stuff up now, so they must have changed it. But it's a cooperative game. So for me, if that was not a cooperative game, I would not want to learn a game that way, like card by card. But there's not a whole lot of pressure because it's me and these other people versus the game, usually me and my roommate. And we're just usually chill to do whatever. Whenever we get in the mood to play a cooperative game, so we probably are just in the right mindset to let the game happen, whatever that game is. So
it won the Kennerspiel des Jahres, which
I love it.
I find that interesting. Michael Menzel's great. His art is fantastic. Oh my god, his art! The art he does in games is I would hang it on my wall. It's so beautiful.
A ton of its content is coming out in English this year, so
yes,
really?
That is what I have been waiting for. It didn't matter probably at all, but I've been bugging the crap out of them on Twitter. The English world wants this.
Yeah, because there was an expansion that was released and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, there's so many expansions for it that weren't released in English, and it's pretty language dependent. So since you have to read all of the cards.
Can I just give a shout out to some of the amazing troll puns happening in chat right now?
Oh my gosh. Let's read some of them.
And Rollins has arrived. I'm just going to
troll through the ages. Just troll for it. Tunnels and trolls.
I love Troll Through the Ages. That's good.
I can play that game. I'm not gonna lie.
Trollbound would be good. Let's see what else.
Oh man.
What do I have over here? Troll Quest.
Glory to
Troll Blitz.
Troll Quest.
Abracatrol.
No.
Yeah. So that's all the time we have left for Stephanie tonight. It's been great talking to you, Stephanie.
Listen, I control the broadcasting software.
No.
Fine.
We're at your whim. I love you. I love you.
I know. I can't. All the ones in this room are just not good.
Yeah,
for
I
that.
have a lot of
And
good
that I'm looking
things.
at that are in here, that are in this room. They're all like one-word games, like Trollville, I guess, instead of
Trollville,
Scrollville.
that works. Like
See?
Trollful Bonanza.
Yeah.
Waffle Trollnanza.
Trollful Bonanza. Good. It's good. Yeah.
I like Trolls in
in
Texas.
Texas. That's great.
I like
Oh,
Trolls in Texas.
There we go. There we go.
Good.
One Night Ultimate Troll is probably the next Kickstarter that will be coming from Busy.
Yeah, let's do a fantasy theme.
No one tell Ted. No one tell Ted.
No,
Let's do let's do a new high fantasy theme.
I'm sure. I'm sure it'll happen.
Sushi troll.
Sushi
But
Troll.
yeah, but make it a question mark instead of an exclamation point. Sushi troll?
Who
Drink
knows?
more manly
All right,
booze.
Drum troll. Nice.
Is this
word.
manly booze? I don't know.
Oh.
I can't tell if it has a penis or not.
I mean, you have to drink it with a penis, so yeah.
I feel like you don't understand how penises work, but that's okay.
Well, you drop trowel, and
This
it's
isn't.
just-
This is not an educational show. Just disclaimer.
Clearly.
Oh, a Grictrilla. That's a good one. I like that.
Trial. Yeah.
Chat, thank you for
Rwanda,
picking up that flag.
1979. Yes.
Trollfall. Oh, I would play Trollfall. I'm not gonna lie.
Ooh, that's good.
Rob, get on that. Just saying. Like, you're not busy enough. Make another list.
Trolleys.
Oh, that's
Brad,
so
that's
hard
close.
to pronounce. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
trolleys.
Oh, it hurts me.
Trolleys.
Trolley?
Trolleys.
Trolley. Trolley.
Troy-light
And this is when the stream just died. Just
So anyway,
it's basically just us reading chat. Like, we have no longer, that's the content of the show at all, which we never really have been. It's always been the chat.
we're
But
just
this is
shouting
where
out
everyone else
ridiculous
knows.
stuff now.
But that's why we're glad y'all are here, or otherwise we wouldn't have a show.
You guys make us. You make us. What would we do without you? Nothing. Actually,
So-
that's a lie. We would just sit and talk and gossip and drink.
So Aaron LaFlame gave us a suggestion on a topic for our
Yes.
next show.
I'm looking forward to that one.
So what was
I
that
love
topic,
Aaron.
Nicole? Do you want
Aaron's the
to
best.
talk about that? What was that? What was her suggestion?
Oh my god.
I don't remember.
It was IP games, y'all.
Yes, there we go.
Yes.
IP games. Oh my god.
Yes.
My poor brain.
I know.
I'm very excited to talk about that.
Okay, so we'll be talking about IP games at some time.
Yeah.
Um,
And if anybody has suggestions for stuff they'd like to hear us talk about that's not fruit in booze, just give us a shout. Give us a shout on Twitter. Any of us, just at us, at
Or-
Nichols included. Yeah, we'd love to hear
on the
what you
Facebook.
on the Facebook. Just like find us all the
Do we do a
places.
guild? Do we need like a guild? Is that a thing on Board Game Geek?
I don't. There's so
I
many
don't know.
guilds already.
Who needs a guild when we have Twitter? Come on.
I mean, that's fair. I'm trying to just be inclusive of people that don't use Twitter and or Facebook.
True. But
Well,
then how did they find us here?
I don't know.
exactly.
Trolls of London. I actually want to see that. I want to see like trolls like with like I want to see like a fancy troll with a monocle.
Ooh, and a bowler hat.
Yes.
Milady.
A troller hat. Yes.
Milady. Yeah.
Rada Trolls Club. Does that work?
I actually want a troll doll game because I loved those little troll dolls. when
Well,
I
you
was
know,
little.
they're coming out with a new movie.
I saw
serious?
that. Like
Yeah,
every
but
random music
Max-
person.
I know,
Oh my
but you
God.
guys, the buzz on this stupid troll movie that's coming out, this anime, is really, really positive.
Wait, is
I
that
know,
the
like,
one that with the Justin Timberlake song?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's a really good song.
like you got, like the buzz as the troll movie is actually really, really good.
I'm pumped.
And the
I'm
3
gonna
people I know who've seen it love it. And hey, if you have a hit kids movie, you could definitely get a game out of that IP.
Yeah.
So, there you go, Steph.
I really want. I just miss my troll dolls. I used to play with them in the bathtub every day. I had some with jewels, and those I made like the mages. So I played a solo role-playing game with my trolls.
Oh my
So I had the
goodness.
mages were the ones with the jewels, and the ones without jewels were like muggles, but they had other things that they could do, like they were really smart or they were really strong, so they could do battle. I don't know what the troll's enemy was. Like I made it like water monsters. So sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm really distracted by the fact that like the chat is just overwhelmed.
The chat is on
It's
fire. It's
killing
off
me.
the rails.
I'm dying.
It's out of
They're
control.
dying.
I love every moment of it.
Ugh.
I'm literally talking about last week. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's I
Shit.
do.
Shit.
I-
So
You're
anyway,
not wrong.
if
not-
anybody
you're not
has
right.
topic suggestions, please let us know. We would love to hear them.
I guess
I
I
mean,
guess that's close to our show.
we'll talk basically about anything, but it's always nice to have a starting point. So IP games is going to be a great one. I'm really looking forward to that. And yeah, anything else you guys would like to hear us talk about? Any cool cocktail ideas you have? Let us know.
If you
Awesome.
have a toast or a cheers that you would like us to do, we will give you credit, and then we will do that. I did one. Nobody
It
else
was
seemed impressed.
Fantastic.
We were all
Oh.
very impressed. We just
You're-
we're quiet, so we didn't have to make one up.
It was good.
I just like how do
I think you're trolling me. Think you're trolling me right now.
Never. Never. Anyway.
Max, do you have anything that you would like to add before we close out?
No, not yet. No.
Not
Yeah?
yet.
No.
Do we have to wait now?
Not
Or
tonight. I have nothing
Okay.
for this evening.
Suze, do you have anything?
I just want to say how much fun. I mean, obviously, Nicole, Stephanie, Marguerite, and I, we're friends, and we've known each other for a while now, and we just have a lot of fun. But the chat is, despite the overabundance of puns tonight,
Suze loves them.
the chat is awesome, and
It
it's
is
so much fun
really.
to see people that we know and people that we don't know talking and making puns
I love it.
and talking, and so thank you everybody for joining. It's like really, really cool, and I'm trying to like do better on keeping up with the chat, but I'm just too like
It's
it's
like-
hard. Like it's
it's
hard. Like
scrolling.
Mags has been
chatty.
running it though.
Yeah, you're doing
Mags
great,
has been
Mags.
doing it.
So thanks
And,
everyone in the chat.
Yeah, and if any of you in chat are going to be at BGG-Con, like, we're going to try and get together, the four of us, to do some kind of thing. Who knows? But it would be awesome to have,
We're going to schedule it.
have a drink.
We
We will schedule it.
announce
If we
announce
don't
it.
schedule it, it won't happen.
Yeah.
So it would be really great to meet some of you that I haven't met already. I did get to meet a couple of new people at Gen Con, which was really super. But yeah, it would be awesome to get together at BGG-Con, and I can't wait.
Well, I guess that's something I could announce today.
Yes.
We will be solidifying plans for Extra Life 2016 really soon. That's coming up on November 5th, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So
correct.
keep tuned. We've got big plans this year. It's overlapping one of my favorite cons, but I'm doing Extra Life instead, so I'm excited.
Ooh.
Yay, boo, yay, boo.
Yeah.
Boo, yay, boo.
Boo yay boo. We're gonna make
Boo.
that game, whatever that game is.
Okay.
And
okay.
insert troll here. Nicholas just won.
Oh,
Nicholas won.
that's it. They won. They won.
Mob alert.
Yeah.
Insert troll here. That's done. We're done.
Yeah.
With that, we will end the show.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody for joining us. As always, we love having you here. As everyone has said, please join us next Friday-ish.
Yeah. Ish.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah.
Probably not, but we'll see.
Yeah. You know, you never know. We're trying to do at least every other Friday, but we might toss in an extra every now and then.
Yeah.
We'll try to always announce it on the Facebook or Twitter before we do. So watch out for that. And also, probably one of the easiest ways is to hit that heart button below and follow us on Twitch, and then you'll just be automatically notified if you choose that setting whenever we go live. So if like we accidentally go live and we're doing like a secret industry chat, just revealing all of this secret information, just having a meeting, you'll be notified of that and you'll see that. So
That happens all the time.
Totally.
Yeah, I mean, I had
out so much.
I had the intro screen up for like 30 minutes for the first. So I mean, you know, anything's possible. Whatever. I'm the producer, so. But that's it. That's our show. That's episode number 6. Traitors, Trolls, and Daiquiris, and cheers.
Cheers.
To all my fellow trolls and traitors and daiquiris out there.
Mine's empty. That's how it should be.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, okay, yay.
I know. I actually thought I was the only one drinking. I was like,
I'm
but
done.
I had to refill, so.
Mine's
All right,
empty.
so
All my grapes are gone from my sword. So
I'm gonna. Before we close, I will do the recipe real quick one more time because Nicole's awesome for putting this together. Your choice: take an entire piece of fruit, add it to booze, enjoy regardless of your gender or identity, or add a piece of vegetable, or really whatever you want in your cocktail. And with that, I will bring it back to us, and we can all wave and close out.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you.